A massive shape rises from the water, silent, still, then it explodes. Jaws wide open, 4 feet across, teeth like ivory blades, aimed straight at a wooden boat. The men on board had 2 seconds, 2 seconds between life and death. This is not a crocodile, this is not a shark, this is hippo. And in my opinion, it is the most terrifying animal walking this earth today. People fear lions, they fear leopards, they fear the crocodile lurking beneath the surface. But there is the truth no one talks about. The hippo kills more people in Africa every single year than any of those animals. Around 500 humans gone every year, killed by an animal most people think is slow, lazy and harmless. What makes this even more dangerous is almost nobody sees it coming. Let's go back to the basics. The hippopotamus. Hippopotamus, amphibious, a name that comes from ancient Greek meaning river horse. But there is nothing horse-like about this animal. An adult male hippo weighs between 1500 and 3000 kilograms. That is heavier than most cars. In fact, I believe if you placed a hippo next to a Land Rover, the hippo would win in weight and in a fight. They can run at 30 kilometers per hour on land. That is faster than most humans sprint. And in water they move like shadows, silent, effortless, invisible until it is far too late. Here is what shocks people most. The hippo is herbivore. It does not hunt you. It does not want to eat you. It grazes on grass at night, sometimes walking up to 10 kilometers from the river in complete darkness. And yet it kills. Because the hippo is the most territorial land mammal on earth, and it has zero tolerance for anything it perceives as a threat. A fisherman paddling too close to a port, a tourist boat drifting into hippo territory, a child playing at the river's edge. These animals do not give warnings, they do not retreat, they charge, and when those jaws close, with a bite force of around 2000 pounds per square inch, survival is almost impossible. In 2014, on the Niger River in Mali, a boat carrying 45 passengers was stuck by a hippo and capsized. 12 people drowned. The hippo hit the boat from below, from the dark water, without a single sound of warning. In 2018, a tourist safari boat in Zimbabwe was overturned. The guide was killed instantly. His passengers survived by swimming desperately to shore while the hippo circled beneath them. There are no accidents, in my opinion. These are the consequences of underestimating an animal that has survived on this planet for over 55 million years. Let's talk about what makes this animal true killing machine, even though it never evolved to be one. First, the teeth. A hippo's canine teeth, the ones they use to fight and attack, can grow up to 50 centimeters long, half a meter of ivory. They are not used to eat, they are used entirely as weapons in fights between males and in defense against any perceived threat. What makes this even more dangerous is that the hippo can open its jaw to an angle of 180 degrees, fully flat, wide enough to swallow a small human whole. And the pressure behind that bite, scientists have measured it. A hippo bite is stronger than a lion's, stronger than a crocodile's chomp to the side. It is one of the most powerful bites in the entire animal kingdom. Second, the aggression. Hippos are highly social animals. They live in pods, groups of 10 to 30 individuals, dominated by a single dominant male. He controls the territory, he controls the water, and he will fight to the death to protect it. Male hippos fight each other constantly. The scars on their bodies tell a lifetime of brutal combat. These fights involve ramming, biting and tearing at each other with those massive tusks. Young males are chased out of the pod and forced to live alone. and lone male hippos are considered the most dangerous of all. A lone male with no territory, no pod, no social structure, just aggression, and the need to establish dominance over anything that crosses his path. Fishermen along the Congo River know this well. They can tell you exactly which stretch of the water belongs to which hippo. They know because their brothers and fathers learned the hard way. Third, the speed people forget. I want you to picture this. You are on the bank of the Zambezi River. It is late afternoon. The water is brown and still. You see a hippo in the distance, maybe 60-70 meters away. You think you are safe, you are not. A hippo can cover 60 meters in under 5 seconds on land. In water, they do not swim, they walk along the bottom and push off, launching themselves through the water in explosive bursts. There is no running, there is no out swimming if a hippo decides you are a threat. Your survival depends almost entirely on luck. And yet, despite all of this, the hippo is listed as vulnerable on the IUCN Red List. Their population has dropped by 20% in just the last 2 decades. There are now believed to be fewer than 130,000 hippos left in the wild. Poaching for their ivory tusks, habitat destruction, conflict with humans over river access. The very animal that kills hundreds of people a year is itself disappearing from the earth. I believe there is something deeply complex in that truth. Fear and conservation existing side by side. Let's go deeper into the biology, because once you understand how this animal is built, you will never look at it the same way again. Hippos spend up to 16 hours a day submerged in water. Not because they love swimming, they actually cannot swim in the traditional sense. They sink and walk along the river floor. The water keeps their enormous bodies cool under the brutal African sun. The skin is almost hairless, and it produces a natural red liquid, often called blood sweat by locals. It is not actually blood, it is a natural sunscreen, an antimicrobial agent the body produces. It protects the skin from UV rays and keeps infections out of their wounds. In my opinion, that single biological fact is one of the most extraordinary things in all of nature. An animal that produces its own sunscreen and its own medicine. They can hold their breath for up to 5 minutes. Their nostrils, eyes, and ears are all placed high on their head so they can remain almost fully submerged while still seeing, hearing, and breathing. They are perfectly designed for their environment. And when a hippo is underwater, it closes its nostrils automatically. Its ears fold shut, its eyes stay open. It is watching even from the dark. Hippos communicate with deep, resonating grunts, honks, and rumbles. Some of their calls travel both above and below the water simultaneously, a rare ability in the animal kingdom. Scientists believe they use these underwater calls to communicate with their pod, even when fully submerged. They are not dumb, lumbering beasts. These are intelligent, complex, socially structured animals who happen to be capable of ending a human life in seconds. The relationship between people and hippos in Africa is ancient and complicated. Communities along the Nile, the Congo, the Zambezi, they have lived alongside hippos for thousands of years. There are ancient Egyptian carvings of hippo hunts. The goddess Taweret, the protector of childbirth in ancient Egypt, was depicted as part hippo, part lion, part crocodile. Even in ancient history, humans understood that the hippo was something different, something that deserved both fear and respect. Today, in countries like Uganda, Zambia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, fishermen head out onto the same rivers every morning that hippos call home. They know the risks. They go away because the river is their livelihood, their food, their life. For them, the hippo is not a documentary subject. It is neighbor, a dangerous, unpredictable neighbor who has been there longer than any of them. There's one final thing I want to leave you with. In 2021, a conservation team in Zambia was tracking a female hippo with a newborn calf near the Luangwa River. The mother saw the research boat. She gave no warning, no grunt, no territorial display. She turned submerged and hit the boat from below with the full force of her body. Two researchers ended up in the water. One made it to shore, the other was pulled out by the team only seconds before the hippo returned. The calf had not been touched. The boat had not come close. But in the mother's mind, anything near her baby was a threat, and threats are eliminated. What makes this even more dangerous is that hippos do not have an off switch. There is no de escalation, no backing down in the water. In their territory, they are the apex, not the lion, not the crocodile, the hippo. The river monster that has been here since before humans walked this earth. The herbivore that kills 500 people a year. The animal we still underestimate. This is the raw reality of nature. Subscribe to WildLabX for more untold stories from the wild.